Good afternoon and welcome back to another episode of Network One-on-One. To be successful in most businesses, you've got to do some networking. When you're able to take your network from a larger group setting to a more intimate environment, you can learn much more about your counterpart and really explore how your connection can lead to business and ideas. Network One-on-One's intention is to do just that. In today's episode, Cissé and Javan Reyes of the timeless Meraki Allure brand sit down with startup fashion visionary Mina Fox of Hells Bells and the influential April Yang of Cool Irpa. The fashion industry veterans share wonderful wisdom while the young entrepreneurs share their honest insight on the current nature of the industry and the obstacles that they've faced. We hope that you enjoy this episode of Network One-on-One with these fashion industry entrepreneurs. We believe it's another great connection.
I'm Mina Fox, and my business is Hells Bells Co. And I just started my business last year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very new.
My name is April Yang. My brand is Cool Irpa, and I've been in business for over 11 years.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm Javan Reyes. Name of our company is Meraki Allure, fashion brand, and we've been in business. It'll be 7 years in June.
Awesome. Cissé here with Meraki Allure as well. And just like Javan said, this June will be 7 years for us.
Please tell us your favorite method of finding inspiration. Okay, so my inspiration goes way back in the day before, I guess, early ages of the internet. My inspiration actually came from magazines. That's usually where we found a lot of fashion inspo, street snaps, things like that. I actually got it from magazines, anime, things like that. So that's where my inspiration comes from.
I like it.
Yeah, my method of finding inspiration is, seeing what people are wearing. If I see something I like and I think I can recreate it, I will do it. And just from shows I watch, anime, in these days, social media, what's trending and what can I make for cheaper? And I think a lot of Japanese fashion as well. I think I was really inspired by that when I was younger. And then throughout the years, it became more of everyday fashion that most people would be interested in.
That's
Pretty
awesome.
cool. It's always ever changing too. So
Yeah,
it's
for
never
sure.
boring.
And now it's back to that anime Japanese fashion type.
That's awesome. Very influential. I would say for us or for myself, one of the biggest inspirations, we talked about this earlier with our wonderful host, Zeke, is timeless fashion, creating things from James Bond, because for us being in a kind of a higher end clothing, we try to create pieces that if you buy, you can still use for a long time. We try to do things a bit different than fast fashion where you just have to buy things every week or every few weeks.
Yeah.
So for us, we try to really build pieces that are more timeless. So we try to, especially that we service men and women, we try to get inspirations from movies, social media, but also I love people watching. So if I'm traveling, see something, I'm more than happy to snap a picture. And
I'm doing that too.
It's an inspiration.
Yeah, I think it kind of falls along the creative side. If you have that, for me, it kind of was a circumstantial how I stumbled upon it. GQ magazines when I was in high school, 007, certain actors, people that I aspired to be like, and so that's kind of where the fashion started. But it's that if you have that creative mind, you're always looking at, ooh, that's amazing, that looks great. And then for us with our business, it's the fact that we can focus on timeless pieces, but it's based on the individual. So even if it's a timeless look, you can have the unique touches and things like that. That's just personal to the individual.
Yeah,
So
I like that.
it's
That
awesome.
makes sense.
Definitely.
Yeah.
refashioning old clothes versus throwing out the old for new.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So I think one of the inspirations, I'm sure, for Zeke for connecting us is we all have a through line of sustainability.
Yes.
So the challenge with sustainability is that it has so many different components of it, all the way from the fabric, or do you repurpose, or how does the manufacturer actually do their dyes? Are they wasting water? Is it going into the landfills? Do you burn excess clothes? There's so many layers of it.
Yes.
So to this question, one of the things that we are adamant about when we are helping our clients redo their wardrobe is donating the clothes or finding ways to refit it. Because a lot of times we tell our clients that besides the name and the marketing that you pay for in clothing, the two things that fundamentally you pay for in fashion is the fabric and the fit. How well it fits you. So if we can resize and refit some of your old clothes, it will be like a brand new outfit. So, but yeah, I would love to hear you guys' feedback on repurposing as well.
You know, there's a saying that, you know, clothes aren't meant to fit us. You know, we're meant to fit the clothes to fit our bodies. And I think like these days people expect clothes to fit them like perfectly when they buy it, and they're a little like disappointed when it doesn't. But that's not like how clothes was like ready to wear was back in the day. People would buy things and alter them.
Yes.
And I think people need to get back into doing that. You know, you can just simply tailor garments and it'll look way more expensive.
I agreed.
It's quality.
Yeah. So when I was younger, my family didn't have much money, you know, and that was also like an inspiration why I wanted to like get into fashion and like do the things I wanted, because like growing up, I always wore like my cousins' like hand-me-downs, like all the time, straight up until I was like graduated from high school, like until I actually had a job. So I always had to like make things work for me, and I had like kept those clothes literally until I graduated like college. Like, so I'm always, you know, like trying to like redo the clothes, like repurpose it. I'm always like repurposing it, even if in my mind I didn't even realize it. And it all came because like my family didn't have money, like, you know, and I always had that mindset. And even with like Hell's Bells, like my designs, I see a lot, or people will be seeing a lot of like the same like plaid patterns on different things, because I'm always reusing it. And like when I did my swimwear and things like that, like I started out with like one pieces, but then I ended up doing bikinis out of the same fabric. Like even with like the underwear, it still came from like similar fabrics. I even had like old t-shirts that I had for like the women's underwears, like the inside parts and stuff. I'm always like recycling those things. Even if people don't even know about it, I'm always thinking that way, even when I'm making designs and things like that. I don't want it to just be like one design on one like fabric. I want to make sure I'm getting like the best use, and everyone's getting the best use of that, and trying to do like as less waste as possible.
I love that, because it came from like your upbringing. You know?
It came from my upbringing.
Taught you how to make the most of like what you had. And that's kind of how it was for me too, my story, you know? I was like a huge fashionista. I always had to wear something different from everybody, you know? Like I just like we would get free t-shirts from school, but I had to cut mine, flip it upside down, make it look completely different from everyone.
Flip it and rework it.
So it kind of has like the same theme is still in what I do today. Like I'm turning something old into something new, because that's what I would do back in high school. I would take a t-shirt and find a different way to like restyle it. And because my mom wouldn't want to like buy me new clothes all the time, I had to just like, what can I do at home to change this up? Because I need to wear something different today. You know, so it's that part of me.
Especially having like a lot of siblings too. Like I know you have quite a bit of like sisters and things like that. I have like 7 siblings. So it does get kind of chaotic. So that's also where it stems from, you know. We always have to keep passing each other like our clothes and whatnot, because we can't buy things. So I
love that. 2 things that stand out when you guys share your story. I can definitely relate. I'm the youngest of 7 kids.
Oh wow.
And he has come from a big family too. So one thing that stands out from all of you guys' story is like, one, the clothes were actually good enough that they would last multiple kids. Nowadays, most of the clothes wouldn't even last after a
they
year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just realized that right now in the
Wow,
story.
yes.
How much
Yeah.
time has changed and the quality of the clothes
Mhm.
don't last as long. So even if you try to hand me down to someone else, it's going to be like, why are you giving me ripped clothes? You know what I mean? Like, you're really going to need some sewing skills to repurpose it.
For
you know?
sure.
So that's one part. And the other part that stands out to me is that we've talked about this before in our business and some of our friends, is that your business is kind of like your extension of your values and your ethics.
Yes.
So you were being sustainable without realizing that you're being sustainable.
Mhm.
And now you've ingrained that into your business because it's an extension of who you are.
Exactly.
You know, so it just reminds me in a way that for most of us entrepreneurs, especially creatives, our business is very kind of close to who we are and what our heart is. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, but yeah, it's cool.
Thank you.
All right. How important did you feel it was to go to school to learn your trade? Ooh, I'll pass that to you guys.
I feel like it was very important. At the end of high school, I didn't even know what I wanted to do. Even though I was so passionate about
Same.
sewing and fashion, it didn't seem like a good career path. Like, it's just something that your parents don't bring up.
Oh, yeah.
They're bringing up like other career paths. And so fashion design wasn't something I thought was even an option for me until my sewing teacher kind of, paved the way for me. She said, you'd be crazy if you don't pursue this, So she showed me that like I was talented in something. And then that's when I decided to go to college for it and just like learn more about it. But if I could go back, I would actually do things way differently because I didn't think it was that important either. When you're young, you just think that you know how to do it. Like, I know what I have to do. Like I was making YouTube videos, like I got this, but I think I could go back and take it a little more seriously and know more. I mean, I can always go back too. That's the thing. The thing is that I would go back and learn more because I think when you know what you want to do, it's so important to become like the best at it, know everything that you can about it so you can grow.
I feel like, because I didn't go to school for fashion at all. In the last 7 years, I feel like I've gotten a crash course in almost every different, not just in suit making, but everything. From mills to production to manufacturing, so much education that I learned in the past 7 years, and then the sustainability route and being environmentally conscious and the impact it has and repurposing. And so I feel like it was a lot of self-education the last 7 years for me, but my background, the only college that I had was for business and marketing. So, I mean, yes, I'm utilizing that degree now, but I mean, it's almost irrelevant because of social media and the presence online. So a lot of the learning has been along the way for me.
Yeah. I feel like there's so many resources out there now. You don't even need to go to school. Something because everything is out there on YouTube.
Yeah, I feel very like half and half on like the importance because of the resources that we have.
Oh, yeah.
So for me personally, like when I started pursuing it, it was more because my grandma suggested it. Because when I was in high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But she was just like, since you're already like in the modeling scene and all this stuff, and I see you sew like all the time, like crazy, like why didn't you try that? But I really felt like I had to really fight to prove, that's what I wanted to do. Because when I was in high school, and like in my family, my mom is like an artist and we come from a line of like artistry and things like that. So she was very like disappointed that I was choosing that path at first until she started coming to the shows and seeing my work and was like, like, wow, like you're actually like doing this, kind of thing. So I feel very half and half on it. Like, yes, I am very appreciative to go to school and like fine tune my skills, but I also felt like I had to use that to like kind of prove myself and like prove my worth, like in my family kind of thing. So it's just like half and half. But I think like if I was younger in today's society, like you can learn a lot of the same things like online, which is really cool that, if you don't come from that and you wanted to learn it, like you can learn anything, basically.
I learned how to make handbags.
Yeah.
I learned how to make a handbag on YouTube from leather to final product.
Yeah.
It's insane how
It's
much you
amazing.
can learn out
It's
there.
really
Yeah.
cool. I really appreciate that. Like, people like April that just put like the content out
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Because that's how I learned in high school and like kind of why I wanted to keep learning and keep pursuing it. Like you don't always have to like go to like the best school or anything like that. Like you can straight up learn from home.
Yes.
But I feel like, I see school as kind of like a tool for like networking as well, because they're always teaching you, like trying to put you in like the right places, So I think that's like, that's why I'm half and half on it.
Yeah, I feel like to a certain extent, you can do it on your own, but for sure there's a point where you have to like take the next step.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think that's a perfect segue for me because I think for us creatives, it depends which area of the business you need the knowledge in. For instance, something that's very skill oriented, like sewing, it's great to learn online or the resource or go to school, but it's highly important to get mentorship or have a teacher, like in your situation, tell you how to really perfect that, hone in on that skill. But if you're a doctor, you should definitely go to school. You know what I mean? Like when I show up at your doctor's office, I better see some course, some certificates, and then make sure you're going back to school every couple of years. That's different, But to Mina's point, I absolutely agree that I'm immensely grateful to live in a time where we have access to so many resources online. You have dedicated people like April that actually provide quality content for people to consistently learn from. Super important. So for me, similar to April's story, or even you, Mina, that my family, initially, I went to USD to become a doctor. So when I changed my major, they were not too happy, especially in the African culture or a lot of minority culture. They're like doctor, nurse or something. And then, and I was an English major. Like, what? What are you gonna do with that? But now I'm using my degree now more than ever before, especially with our content that we're creating. Working on other writing related projects. But again, it's great that we have access to those resources. But I think it's equally important to both of you guys' story that when you do decide to go all in at that thing, truly push yourself to master it as much as you can. So mastering it could be through school. It could be through a mentor. It could be through learning online. But whatever it is, please master it because it's competitive.
Yes. Yep.
You want to make sure that when you show up to represent your industry or whatever you do, that you're as professional or as skilled at it as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a really good question because I know can be controversial because some people are like, oh, only school is the answer. And they're like, oh, only this is. No, it could be a combination of both.
Yes, it can.
Depending on what the job is.
I also want to add, like why I'm grateful for all the content creators and everything on the internet. When I was in high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just, liked fashion. But when I saw more people doing, different things within the field I was interested in, it really like opened the doors to all the possibilities or like routes that I could take. So I'm like really grateful for that and like for the future of anyone like pursuing anything really. Because, we only get to see what's either like at the school we go to or like what's local to us or what's on TV or whatever.
Absolutely.
But like it's just like endless possibilities. Like I'm really grateful for that. It just helps you,
I just think that like if they canceled the fashion program, if we didn't have a fashion program at my high school, I wouldn't have gone into sewing too. But these days, there's YouTube, there's TikTok, Instagram, where people can find the inspiration and learn. They don't just have to take it in school. So that's something as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
We've learned something recently that really opened our eyes. So long story short, I was a personal stylist for 10 years before we launched our company. And I never thought about taking fashion seriously as a career, which is weird now because like you had the answer of your passion in front of you for many years. And you're like, I don't know, I'm going to go this way. And then luckily for some of us, we had mentors or teachers to be like, hey, you should take this seriously. And for me, that happened later in life. I was already in my 20s. And then two of my clients were the ones that convinced me to take fashion more seriously. And one of them became my business partner.
Oh.
You see? So it's just funny how life happened. I literally, I never thought that it was a serious career.
Yeah,
So
it's never
now,
too late.
exactly. So anyone listening to this, I love that message. It's never too late to follow what you love, even if you do it part-time.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that we learned, or we've been really dedicated to recently, is helping more stylists or even image consultants, as we call it, to really make more people respect our industry. Because sometimes when you tell someone you're a stylist or a designer, they're like, oh, that's cute. That's a cute hobby. Not realizing that people legitimately make a living out of this. So we're excited to basically paint a better image for our industry to make people respect it much more than it is currently.
The Film Hub is the future of co-working in downtown Vista. Get energized in an inspiring work environment that is built for your success. With multiple membership options for workspace and private offices, you can become a part of our co-working community. The Film Hub makes it easier to produce the professional content your business needs. From video production, live streams, photo shoots, or in-person events, you can create all this and more in our audio and video facilities. Love your work and where you accomplish it. The Film Hub.
Hello friends, I'm Joe Samo. I'm an attorney in San Diego, and I'm the host of Run It By My Lawyer. It's a great podcast where you will learn a lot about the law, and it is very entertaining if I say so myself. And you could get it for free anywhere you get your podcasts, and you can follow us on Instagram at Run It By My Lawyer.
This podcast is brought to you by YourInsurancePlace.com. Owning a business is hard work. You put your blood, sweat, and tears into it every single day. You need a partner who understands the ins and outs of insuring small to medium-sized businesses. For over 40 years, our California Property and Casualty Insurance Agency has insured businesses just like yours. We've seen it all, and we've learned a thing or two about what it takes to keep your business protected. That's why we offer free policy assessments. We'll take a look at your policy and let you know if there are any gaps in your coverage. Let us help you to protect what you've worked so hard to build. YourInsurancePlace.com.
Yeah, I want to circle back to what you said about how like it took someone from the outside, right, to show you, you know, like this is your spark, like this is something that like you're crazy if you don't do it. And I think we all need that person in our life, you know, people on the outside. If you ever see anyone that they're talented in something and they're a little unsure, like let them know that they're good at doing that thing and that they should pursue it.
Thank you for bringing that up. Because what if someone doesn't have a teacher or a client, some like in our cases that convinced us to take the path. So that makes me like worry for anyone listening to this that doesn't have that person. So please, if you have a passion, you know, definitely
pursue it. Because it's so easy to do what you love. And you can make money from it. There hasn't been a time in history, I don't think, where you could literally in 3 steps create a name, get a website, and start a business. Like, and it's amazing. It starts with the passion in what you do. So even if you don't have a mentor, even if you don't have somebody nudging you to do it, just kind of look and see, okay, what is my unique skill set, or what is my unique talent, and then how can I turn that into a business?
I also want to add, you know, like I firmly believe that, you know, your passion or what you're meant to do will always find you. Like no matter where you are in life, it will keep coming back, basically, like kind of to haunt you a little bit every time until you do that thing. Like seriously, it will keep coming back in like the most random of ways. So, you know, if anyone out there is just like struggling to find out what you want to do in life, it's going to keep coming back. Like, so take that as a sign.
Absolutely.
That's kind of good. It leads us into the next question. Do you feel that you've found a niche or unique approach?
What a unique question.
Right? So being that we're all involved in fashion, we do things in different ways, or we produce different products, but we're all in the same industry. So I guess to this question, Do you feel that you've found a niche in what you do? I think.
Oh,
Yep.
just like thinking out loud.
I know, right? I'll start. So for us, towards the middle, so about 4 years, 3.5, 4 years, I was getting wrapped up. I was getting too involved in everything in fashion. From not
Feel
just
that.
the apparel,
It's
but the
very
accessories, not just accessories like scarves and ties and handkerchiefs and things like that, but accessories, jewelry, timepieces, necklaces, earrings, diamonds, the fragrances, shoes, leather goods, purses, handbags, you know, and my head almost popped trying to look at everything in a
up with
scope,
all
right?
that.
Yeah.
So my amazing friend and business partner and, you know, some others just was like, hey, look, let's focus on a few specific things that we're good at, you know, let's focus on our unique niche, where our ideal clientele is at, and let's go from there. So, well, to answer the question, yeah. So it's, for us, it's, we work with executives, attorneys, brokers, agents, people that wear that professional attire on a regular basis. And then also the ones that have the money, but not the time, in regards to style. So that's where we kind of go in there and we'll clear out the closet, donate some stuff and kind of help them find their individual style and then go from there. That's kind of where our DNA is at, with Meraki, but that's my piece.
I feel like for me, I come from like a different background with YouTube, and I have 2 million subscribers on my channel. So there's a lot of voices, and I was like 18 when I was starting making content. So it was people, the voices and opinions of people really affected me. And it took me a while, I guess, to like find like the thing that I want to do, because I'm trying to like please everybody. Like, oh, like they're asking for this, I want to make a video about that for that person. And then that kind of burnt me out too. You know, I had to figure out like what do I enjoy doing, you know, and I need to focus on that.
Wow. Can I ask what that is? Like, what do you enjoy now? The most?
So it was kind of like everywhere. It kind of is everywhere now. I was doing a lot of like mainstream fashion, and now I'm dabbling back into, I do a lot of like cosplays now and refashioning, kind of like applying everything. So before I was doing Thrifted Transformations, which was my series, and now I'm kind of applying it to like what I enjoy. And then that's allowing me to step outside of my box, because with mainstream fashion, you can only go so far with like what you see online. It kind of gets boring too. It's not what you really enjoy. It's not a unique style, you know, that can like speak to everyone. Oh, my bad. So it's still like I'm doing it, but I am focusing it on what I enjoy doing. I'm not letting the voices of, you know, everyone. I'm not trying to please everyone, because
Oh my goodness.
people will be like, oh, can you do this next, or don't do that, you know? So I'd be like, dang it, like, I don't want to offend anybody. So I won't, I put myself in a box. And then now I'm kind of just like, you know, I'm not hurting anybody by doing this. If people don't like it, they don't have to watch it, you know? And then I'll just like make what I want to, I want to make.
I feel like I heavily relate to what you said, you know, about the people pleasing stuff, especially like when Hell's Bells was starting out. And of course, you know, I'm like, excuse me, I'm making things that I would wear, you know, kind of thing, and hoping everyone else does too. But like in my family and stuff, they see me as more of like a seamstress, which is not wrong or anything, but they're always telling me like, can you do this? Can you make me this? Can you make me that? You know, like, you know the story. And like when I was doing like plaid stuff, you know, I like the style of plaid. It like goes with everything that I do. And my grandma's like, can you make like school uniforms and try to like sell to like schools and stuff? And I'm like, no, like what? And then like recently I like, you know, made a jacket for my dad to help with his dialysis, and it like blew up and all kinds of stuff. And of course, you know, some of my family members were like, you can make a lot of money out of this. And like, you know, and everyone on the internet too, like it like blew up like crazy. And there was a lot of people like trying to tell me what to do. And like,
Yeah.
yes, this is a good thing and a good cause. I also didn't make this up, which is why I didn't want to go any further than making a tutorial of like showing people how to do it kind of thing. But I didn't want to go any further with that, you know, because I'm like, that's not my purpose.
Yes.
You know, that's just not
Got
my
it.
purpose. And like, I like going back to the question about like your niche, like I still kind of feel like I'm still trying to find that.
too.
Like I know I have like an aesthetic, but like what
Yeah.
am I like doing with that? And I'm trying to venture into like finding a manufacturer and things like that. And of course, you know, when you're meeting with them and
Yeah.
you're going to like other consultants and they're always trying to kind of in a way tell you what to do. And I'm just like feeling in my heart like, no, I don't want my design to like go like this, you know? So I like kind of feel like I have to like fight for my niche.
I think
You
that's
know?
so interesting because when I look at you, I'm just like, I'm so jealous because I'm like, look at Mina, like she has like a style, like a certain niche, like that she is about, you know? And
Thank
I
you.
sometimes wished I had like that one like style as well.
That's so funny because
You know?
I tweeted something like that, like, oh, I'm kind of jealous of people that have that one style and that one niche and they just stick to it because I have like a lot of like, you know, a lot of hobbies and things that I do
exactly.
that I want to incorporate into all my stuff.
wow.
So like when I look at myself, I don't think that about myself, which is like so interesting.
Eric and
I'm
I
like,
are always like, hell's bells, I'm so
I'm
Mina.
like, oh, you guys really
Yeah,
it's so
we're
funny
listening about
how-
your brand.
how other people think of you versus like how we think of ourselves. I'm like,
Yeah.
I would have never thought I had like a niche. Like
That's awesome. I love that. I love that.
That's cool.
And if you guys actually, for you first, Mina, if you ever need ideas or feedback on connecting with manufacturers, we'll be more than
Yes.
happy to help with
I
I
that
would love
because
to talk
in
with
the
you
beginning,
after.
in the beginning, it could be a
Yes.
bullying situation.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
when we first started, some of them literally told us, "Come back to us when you're big or when you're ordering
Yeah.
at least
Okay.
2,000 pieces."
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
The
believe
MOQs
it.
are so
So-
high.
Yeah.
But it took time to find the manufacturers we have now. Most of them are environmentally conscious.
Mm.
They don't even have a high minimum.
Oh,
You
good.
can even talk to them directly.
Yeah.
Like one of the manufacturers we have is in Pakistan, and they even have like a zero waste policy. So all the extra
Oh,
fabrics that comes from,
Repurpose.
Yeah.
they repurpose it
That's
and things
really
like that.
cool.
Yeah.
And one of the things that came to my mind when I first got introduced to you today is that we're in a business cohort right now, and there's a lady in there that creates repurpose harnesses for cats.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
so cute.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if there's any synergy there in the future, but anyways, I'll be happy to see any way I could help expand the connections for you
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
for sure. You
because
That's
just-
so cool.
Because she's doing it all on her own right now.
Uh-huh.
She just started her business just
I
like
love that.
2 years ago, and
Yeah.
but building. But yeah, it's finding a niche. To me, it's kind of like depending on what your belief is. Everything's energy,
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
perspective.
Yes.
So when you have like too many windows open, kind of like
Oh,
on
yeah.
your phone or on your
Oh.
computer,
Very chaotic.
yeah, it drains your battery faster.
That's true.
Yeah.
So for us, we've had many conversations with different coaches and consultants. They're like, guys, you doing bridal, you're doing this, you're doing that. Like, let's narrow it down.
Narrow it
So
down.
where we are now is, yes, we have access to all of these things, but really we're focused on three main things: ready to
Okay.
wear clothes, custom for men and women, and bridal.
Yeah.
But the foundation of all of that is consulting.
Okay.
Meeting with
Yeah.
someone one-on-one, figuring out which lane they're in.
Mhm.
And then from there, we take them on the route that they're ready for.
That's
Yeah.
so
But at the end of
cool.
it, because the truth is, that's where I was. I was a
Mhm.
personal stylist first.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a designer by nature. You guys are more designer by nature than I am, but I was at heart, the foundation is I'm a stylist.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can take men and women based on who they are, their lifestyle, that they have children, and what their goals are, and build a wardrobe for that.
Mhm.
So now it makes it so much easier energetically when we meet people or we're talking about the company to be like, hey, at the end of the day, we sell confidence.
Mhm.
Okay. That's our
Mhm.
product.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Because my favorite part about what we do is when we dress and help someone dress the part,
Mhm.
all of a sudden they start walking different.
Yeah.
Oh,
They start
yeah.
acting different.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Well,
when someone is
energy.
feeling like
Yeah.
confident and
Mhm.
the way that I'm sure you guys experience it as
Yeah.
well. But to me, it's like that's the part that never gets old. Is that when
Yeah.
someone sees a
Yeah.
reflection,
Yeah.
they're like, oh,
I myself,
Okay.
whenever I'm putting a suit on, I always do a certain thing or they walk on purpose. But that's how it is.
All of a sudden, he becomes Denzel Washington. He's like from like training day. He's like popping his collar. Like, so to me, it's like, how can we simplify? Because for you guys, it's different. This is not just a hobby anymore.
Yeah.
You're running a business. You know what I mean? You have an audience you need to be aware of, but not let it consume you. Like we've all learned.
Yep.
But to me, that's been the long journey for us. It's like, yes, I'm passionate. I love all of these things, but what can I do to simplify it to make it easier for me to go about my day and connect with people, you know? So, but yeah.
I think to all of your points about the unique niche, your unique lane that you're in, you're going to have commentary from the world on what you should do, how you should do it. I think you should do this. I think you should do that. As long as it aligns with your passion for what you do, fundamentally, if that's the first thing, and if it's sound, advice, then take that advice and run with it.
Yes.
Otherwise, everybody, including friends and family, their comments and their feedback is greatly appreciated. But if it's not aligned with your passion, it's simply that. It's commentary that's not needed. Yeah. So,
so hard to not be a people pleaser.
Right? I know.
Especially with friends and family. It's like, I don't want to hurt your feelings.
You care.
Well, you guys are
but if you can't take care of you and you don't love what you do,
then you have nothing.
Yeah.
So let me say this real quick for you guys and also anyone listening, is that when you're running a business, especially you're creative, because we're not like running some tech thing here, or it's not something you're genuinely, this is a part of who we all are. So I say it to say that it's important that no matter how much you grow, don't get so caught up in the business part of what you're doing that you lose yourself in the passion.
Oh, yes.
Because it happens to a lot of people. They start out, they love it, they're acting or they're creating and all that, but they get so caught up in the business side, they've lost track of the part that actually got them there.
Yeah.
So I'm just reminding myself as well. That's why I don't want to ever stop doing consultation with clients, because like me meeting someone and learning about them and building something for their wardrobe is the part that I love the most. So, and eventually as you grow, you can hire a team to do other things in your business that you don't enjoy.
Pass off those hats.
So that leads to a good segue.
Using social media and going viral.
Okay. So this is on your side of the table, because I think you all got a little more experience.
Using social media and going viral. Oh, yeah. I had one very viral video that kind of jumped me to like my subscriber count, actually. So I've been doing it YouTube for years, but I posted one of when I started my series Thrifted Transformations. That video just took off, and I went from like 400,000 subscribers that year to 1 million that year. So it was pretty tough, because at the same time, it's exciting. You're like, wow, like I hit a goal. But overnight, you have like millions of people, like new people that weren't following you on your journey. They weren't.
Know the entire journey.
Yeah, they don't know the entire journey. So then that's where like all the comments are like coming in. And they weren't people that understood where I was coming from, that appreciated my videos. They were just like demanding things.
Yes.
And then since I was like a people pleaser back then, I was like, how do I like please everybody? And it put me in a box for sure. And I'm like recovering from that, I guess. I'm starting new.
No, thank you for sharing that, because when you hear from the outside, you just hear someone went from 400,000 to over 1 million. You're like, oh yeah, I want that. Well, not realizing the consequence sometimes there's a journey, and being able to be prepared to also cater to all of those new people.
Exactly.
So thank you for sharing that. That's a really cool perspective.
Wow.
Yeah. So now like these days when I have a video go viral, I don't really take it to heart. It's just like, it happens, It's like the numbers, honestly, sometimes don't mean anything. For some reason, the algorithm wants to boost it, and then it goes viral. And I could put in so much work for this one video, it gets 0 views. And in the one video I put like 0 work in, it pops off, and it makes me so frustrated. So I don't really
just put 0 effort in every video.
Exactly.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That is not the message for today.
is so true though. Like how I briefly kind of described about like how my dad's jacket went viral.
Yeah, please
And
actually tell us.
Yeah,
a little
I'll
more
tell
about
you the story.
Yeah.
Okay, so me doing my stuff and
Yeah.
like getting my line out there and like trying to gain respect of my family, trying to respect what I do.
No.
And they're always asking me to do things. But my dad, when he made his request about the jacket thing, I actually kind of like really thought about that. It did take me a minute to want to do it, but I like eventually buckled down and was like, okay, I'll do it. So I did like 1 or 2 of them at first, and my dad came over, he tried it on. He loved it so much, which is so
how does the jacket work?
He literally just gave me a hoodie that he had, and I bought some like 22-inch zippers, and I like cut a seam like down the arms like this, and I sewed it on. Like it straight up was that easy.
Yeah.
And he loved it so much. Like he was like wearing it on the treadmill, all kinds of stuff,
God.
like showing it to everyone. And I was like, I think he's just like, being a dad.
Of course.
And then next thing I know, I get this like box shipment in, and there's literally like 6 more hoodies in there. And he's like, can you please put more zippers on this? And I was like, damn, like what? Yeah. So that was like, it's my dad. Like, of course I did it. Wow. So then I was on Twitter, that cursed app, and I was like basically like sharing my like the story because I thought it was like funny, kind of like quote unquote annoying, like little tidbit, not knowing anything of anything. Like I didn't even know too much of like what dialysis was prior to this. Mind you, I had no idea because my dad's like the type of person who doesn't really say much about himself. He's very quiet. Wow. So like if it's something like that serious, he might say it, but it'll be in like an email or something. Yeah. Like he's straight up that weird. So like when I shared that story on Twitter and it was just going crazy, I was like, at first I was just like, oh, haha, like that's like kind of funny. Then it started getting a little scary because I was like, okay, this is doing numbers. And like, I was hearing more stories about people going through like dialysis and hearing the stories and like just learning more about it. This is coming from me not knowing anything about it.
Love it.
And by the end of the day, I was like in tears because I was so touched. I was straight up just so touched with like what everyone was like going through and whatnot. And like, I wish I could like make all these jackets for everyone, but you know, it just doesn't align with what I'm doing, which is why I did the tutorial. But like when I was doing the tutorial, it was for my dad's birthday as a joke because his wife like also does a little bit of sewing. So it was more to teach her how to do it so they could stop asking me. So like,
just trying to build leverage.
So that's why in that video, that's why in that video I did not introduce myself. I was straight to the point. Like I was just, putting it out there. And it was so crazy. It like straight up like went to like over 4 million, and it got me an interview on like Good Morning America. I was like, oh man. And it was so funny because like my dad, he's like, I don't think he's on social media like that, but it took me 8 hours to even tell him that happened. Because when you're younger and like on our early days of the internet, like your parents are always watching you, like don't like talk about me kind of thing. I used to get in a lot of trouble. But anyways, so that's why I was like so scared. I was like, oh my God, I made my dad famous on the internet. Like it took me like 8 hours to tell him. I was just like, at my big age of 28, like why am I scared? Like he doesn't even live with me. But like so that happened. And of course, people are always trying to tell me what to do. They're like, you should patent it and all this stuff. And I was like, what? No, like in my heart about this, like I feel like it's kind of wrong to make money off of that. That's just me personally. I was like, I am not doing that. And people were like, you should just ignore that because people make money off of this anyways. But like after hearing the stories of like what people were going through, I was like, no, like I'm going to teach you how to do this so you can save the $50 from buying it off of Amazon. And if you really, wanted to and had the time and the resources, you can like donate to your local like hospital and whatnot. But like, let me just put this out here for free. And people were getting very mad and saying how like, I don't know how mean I was for putting a tutorial out for free. They're like,
oh my God,
think of
you're gonna get commentary, criticism everywhere.
Think of the people who don't know how to sew. And I was like, I am not thinking, but okay.
And lucky for you,
I was already in that mindset.
Yes.
I stopped people pleasing in like 2011.
Good for you. Yes. See, me in 2011 would have been like, oh, I should do it because people want me to, but then just having like this like mentality now, it's good. She was able to shut it down. Like, nope, not for me.
I had to have that mentality just because, I come from a big family. So I'm already getting a lot of like people in my ear. And I'm just like, I'm like, no.
Nice try though.
Yeah. Like I'm very like in my family, we're very hard headed.
Mm.
So I'm just like, sometimes I'm a little grateful because I can just shut that down. But I did have second thoughts, and I did feel like really, really bad. But I was like, you know what, this is enough. Like I did my thing, and if I feel good about it, then that's fine. That's that, and that's my story about social media.
Thank you for sharing that.
Awesome.
And I hope everything goes well with your dad's
Thank
health as
you.
well, and everyone
Thank
else
you.
dealing with that. What has been your best method of finding clientele? Ooh,
We'll let you guys take that away.
So
We're here to interrupt your regular podcast listening and ask you to join us at Odd Pairing Podcast.
Yes, it's Paige and we are here every week now on Fridays. And we talk about adult beverages in the community, a little bit of the history of it, and we are just going on a nice little journey. And you can hear other people's drinking stories. So why wouldn't you want to listen?
That's the best part.
That is the best part.
Cheers.
Hi, I'm Rachel Beld, host of Velocity, the Vista Chamber podcast. Join me as I sit down with Vista's movers, shakers, and changemakers. Let's move Vista forward with Velocity.
Oh, I'll let the master networker at it. Go ahead.
Just because it ties into how we all met and led to this point today, as I was telling you guys earlier, how I met Zeke. So to me, the older I get, I'm 37 now, the more it becomes important for me to build quality relationships, whether in my personal life or business life. It's important that I'm surrounded by good people, you know? So I say that to say that networking can have a negative connotation where you go to some of these meetings, they're just passing out business cards, which is fine. It has its time and place. But to me, I always encourage people, when you actually network, try to be as present and intentional as you can when you do meet people. Oh my God, you have a child. Oh, what's your child's name? How old are they? And especially, I'll share this one part because I know a lot of people are not that good at it, is when you meet people, what are some of the things you could do to help remember their names?
I knew this.
So, for instance, April, that's easy for me to remember because I have a lot of April birthdays. My brother, one of our good friends, Wasim, he's also April. So April, that's easy for me. Mina, to me, it reminds me of like cultural for me. When someone says, like blesses you and they say, and like in English, you say amen. But in my culture, it's going to say Amina. So Mina, that's like the positive connotation. So basically, whenever someone says their name, try to basically create a visual, a connotation for it, because it makes it more fun and easier for you to remember. It doesn't have to make sense, by the way, to anyone else. As long as it makes sense to you, the brain doesn't care where it came from. So I just wanted to just share that in a networking tip.
That is so cool. I love that.
Create a positive correlation to whatever their name is, and whatever's fun or whatever is creative or silly, as long as it makes sense to you, it will make it so much easier for you to remember that person's name, because they'll be surprised when you say their name. They're like, what? He remembers? But as far as networking for me, it's been the lifeblood of our business, because social media is not my strength at all. That's why we threw that questions out to you guys. Because I love social media, but I'm not on there as much. So I'm grateful that we have a small team that helps us with that. But networking and building connections has been my strong point. And which is funny to say now at 37, because when I was a kid, I was the shy kid. I barely talked. And I was bullied when I first came to America for not speaking English, because French is my first language. So I learned to kind of like stay to myself for a very long time. But after being in sales for so many years, it forced me outside of my comfort zone. That's why it's easier for me now to connect with people. But naturally, I'm an introvert. That's the way I recharge. It's my alone time. If I don't get enough alone time, I won't be socializing with nobody.
Definitely relatable.
So for me, when we first launched Meraki, my goal was, I had my full-time corporate job. So basically between 6 to 9 p.m., a couple times a week, I would force myself to go to events. And through those events and networking, I met someone named William Patum, who became a neighbor of mine. And he introduced me to a client named Sammy, and Sammy is the one that introduced me to Zeke. And if I never met Zeke, I would have never met you ladies today.
Yeah, I know. I love that.
So, so it's all part of that networking, but just creating a consistency. Back to what I shared with you guys earlier about how consistency matters with our business and everything we do. So it's like whatever it is that works for you, just put it on your calendar. If it's it doesn't have to necessarily be like a networking thing. It just can be an event that you attend. It could be a workshop. It could be you volunteer to one of the local colleges and go help them do something in that topic. You know what I mean? Just an excuse for you to be in front of a new audience consistently, just to give. I promise will always pay off as long as you're present. So that to me has been the number one key for us, because even when we do our fashion shows, we generally don't hire professional models. We hire people that are either clients or friends of mine, people in my network.
So cool.
And then another thing that we do that's unique is at the end of the fashion show, we have the models share their story.
I love that.
So, you were there. I forgot about that.
Seeing that was my favorite part.
Thank you. Thank you. Because we realized when we did it the first time 3 years ago, we realized that it made the audience connect more with the brand. They're like, what? That's a single mom that just modeled?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was just a teacher?
Yeah.
So it makes them be like, wow, that was just regular people.
Wait a minute, that's an engineer? Engineers don't look like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So cool.
So anyways, I just wanted to share that. Hopefully
that was really great advice because I'm an introvert. So I'm like, I'm like tuned in.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Thank you. All right, you want to take this one?
Sure.
Or I mean, read it.
I kind of wanted to get their feedback on their ideal clientele.
Oh, yeah.
For me, I don't have clientele because I'm like a content creator. So I guess that would be like networking with, other creators and also how I, have gained my following. And it was through consistency as well. But it's just crazy because my mentality is so different now. I used to like bust my ass off and it was like hustle culture, but like in a toxic way. And I'm like kind of trying to find a balance right now where I'm not burning myself out and I'm still, doing what I love and, giving people what they want to see as well. Like just finding a healthy balance with all that stuff because it's so funny because I made a video after I hit like 1 million subscribers, like how to like succeed on YouTube and stuff. And consistency was for sure one of them. It was like every Friday I'm posting at like 4 p.m. and then, but I would like bust my ass off like every week to like design something, sew it, put it together, do the photo shoot, edit the whole thing, and then put it up. And then I would do it all over again.
Wow.
So I was handling all that on my own.
Lots of work.
Yeah, so it was a lot of work. And because I was so like, just hustle, because the numbers, were really important to me. Then I, that led to burnout and now I'm trying to ease back into that, find a healthy balance. And that's where I'm at. But I think through consistency, you for sure will, find the people that are meant to watch your content. You're not trying to appeal to everyone now.
For sure.
You're trying to just appeal to those who, those who know.
Exactly. I agree. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sure a lot of people are listening to this. They're like, so this is what some of my YouTubers go through. You know what I mean? They don't know. They just see the end result. They're like, oh, I'm going to click. I might not like it. But not realizing that content creating, there's so much that happens behind the scenes. We have no idea.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
So cool. I feel like my way of getting clientele is a little bit chaotic because I am an introvert and I am like very shy, but I'm trying to get out.
I would never believe that.
I know. I know.
What's she talking about? Hey, can we get a witness? Where's your husband?
I know. I always try to get out of my shell a little bit. Like I was invited to do like a fashion show at an anime convention. I straight up made a whole line for that. Wow. And like I had all my friends like model and stuff, and I had like made like Hell's Bells like stickers and we were giving them out and whatnot. And every time I go to like concerts or like rock shows, which me and Jeff do frequently, I always wear my stuff and bring stickers. And if anyone like compliments me or we have a conversation, I'm always going to bring up like my brand and whatnot. Awesome. But I'm still like working on that. Yeah, I'm still working on that. I even like stream, like Twitch stream, like video gaming online. I am wearing my stuff. And like sometimes I have my followers watch me make my things. And we just have like conversations about like what I'm doing and whatnot. So I guess like in an introvert way, it's like kind of getting out there. But I also love what you guys said about consistency, because when I first heard you guys speak about that, like it really hit me deep in my core. And I like felt something in my brain like, we're gonna get our ish together. Like that really put it into such perspective. Like I was tuned in. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. And I straight up like since then I was like, okay, I'm gonna like keep like doing my thing, because like I have like a problem with like, I don't know, being perceived or something. I don't know. I'm very shy. I'm very shy like in person and online. Like I don't post like too much because I'm just like that shy. So I'm learning.
I think she's shy in her head, but
I've been trying. I'm trying more and more to like, I don't know, bring my presence. And telling myself it's okay to like take up space. Like I don't know why I have that in my head, but I'm working on it.
No, I think, first of all, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. I think the thing is, that's why I'm such a big advocate to do what you love. What I mean by that is there's so many layers to about pertaining to this example you just shared. If I had to put you, let's say, in a career you didn't like at all, I don't know if it's accounting or something that just doesn't align with you. You being an introvert, it would have been like 10 times harder for you to do that job because you don't love it. But you're shining. The reason why we're giving you a hard time is because you're talking about something you love, and that naturally lights up the room versus that something you're like, you see what I'm saying? That's why it matters for the people listening and to yourself as well. And then also, it's good. Again, I think that's why a lot of like great teachers and things tell you that don't worry about the 1,000-mile journey, just take step one. So I think that's the beauty and the testimony to anyone listening is that, you know that you have an opportunity to improve in this and that, like we all do. But what matters is you got started, girl. What matters is that you're doing the thing you love. You know what I mean? What matters is that you did an interview with a bunch of strangers. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what matters is that you still do the thing that you may not want to do, but you do your best at it, and eventually it gets better. You know what I mean? Because if I had stayed in the stage of where I got bullied and I was super shy about speaking English because of what people told me back in the day, girl, man, that's a scary thought. And that's an honest conversation we have sometimes. Sometimes we tell ourselves like, man, what if we never met? What if we never discovered our passion? Or what if we never even listened to the people that showed up and told us to do the thing we love?
That's scary.
That's crazy.
Would be here. We wouldn't be here.
So anyways.
It would be. Or it would like take like a longer time for you to get to your path. You would probably like go in all sorts of directions when you could have probably just gone from A to B, Exactly. So it is a shortcut, but like Mina said, I believe that if it's meant for you, then it'll always find you.
Some people are willing to listen. Some people are not, though.
That's true.
Man, who wrote these questions? These are great.
Right?
How can we be helpful to each other?
I think we're being helpful right now.
I think this is amazing.
I mean, the biggest thing I would love to do, just to have it on record, is one, I would love to help you guys connect more with the right people, because I've been in San Diego for a long time and I've been networking for a long time. So that's just a given. But as far as whatever you guys need for your specific businesses or things, please feel free to let us know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to even discuss possibly collaborating for our fashion shows, because we do that at least once a year. And luckily she's been to one of them.
Okay. Yeah.
So next.
And that was actually on my dream board to do a fashion show at that location where you went.
Really?
So it's good that you saw it as a testimony because that was a dream
good.
come true. Because usually when we do fashion shows, as you guys all know, it's very expensive to rent venues and do all of this and do all of
We've
that.
done it so many times before for
Yeah.
school, and we've put it on like how I did, like modeling, and then also like being a part of
Oh,
it.
wow.
Oh
Oh,
my
yeah, I know.
goodness,
Mhm.
we were in tears. I was in tears for like years.
It's a lot.
She's always modeling for me too, so
Yeah.
she does it all.
Yeah, multi-talented. So yeah, I would love to definitely explore that. And obviously, if you have any other suggestions, we're more
Feedback
than-
for us or anything.
Of
Yeah.
Social
course.
media and how to get 2 million subs. And, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
For me, how can I be helpful? Like I'm a huge content creator. I've been doing it for a while, so I do kind of know like what's gonna work and not work. So if you guys ever need help in like the content creation or ideas, I'm always like full of ideas. I love like bouncing ideas off of each other.
Yeah, you're so creative.
Like
You're
yeah,
so
mhm.
creative.
It's interesting when you have a room full of just creatives. It how things flow and the ideas that come out of it and the creation. So definitely look forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also like I'm pretty like straightforward and opinionated. So if you be like, what do you truly think about this? I'll tell you, straightforward. Like, no, I don't want to do it.
That's what I like about you, though.
Yeah, I'm like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah.
No, I would love to see, obviously after this conversation, to see what are the things you need to create content and figure out how we can possibly collaborate in the future, or even if you need a model for your content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything we do, similar to our relationship with Zeke, we try to make it as mutually valuable as possible. To make it as mutually mutual beneficial as possible. So it's not like a one-way street. So one of the things that I would love to know after this conversation is, what are the things that you guys, where are you at right now? Like really, truly, what do you need? And then figure out how we can complement that. You know what I mean? Whether it's models, whether it's fabrics, whether it's manufacturing, like what do you actually need? And then we'll meet you there. Versus saying, oh, this is what we need. This is what we need.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so
cool.
So that's what I would rather do, is just have a genuine conversation. What stage are you at? What makes sense for you? What makes sense for your business? And then if it makes sense to collaborate, we can do that. But I'm happy to also help with that collaboration.
Yeah,
It
for
could just
sure.
be, hey, this is a thing. Call this person, call this manufacturer, do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like we are where we are with our business because of the people that have poured into us. So I genuinely believe in paying it forward. So I'm not really attached to the return.
Yeah.
But
I love that because I think the hardest part for me is like always want to do something. And then when you're like, God, I don't know how though. Then it kind of like, it like blocks you and you're just like, but how do I do it? I know I want to do it, but like, how do I get there? So I think it's like that for a lot of people. And that's why they say, you gotta, surround yourself with people who are already doing it, because when you pick their mind, they've done it already, they can tell you exactly how to do it.
So yeah, I think especially for where we are in our business and then you guys' particular skill sets, the options for us are pretty endless. You know what I mean? You guys have your specific skill sets and experience. And then for us, it's a bit more structure as far as like the clientele and things we work with. But at the end of the day, we're in the same industry, you know? And luckily, I'm also glad that Zeke decided to put sustainable people across from each other, because I've been in rooms before where they put me across from like fast fashion executives and things. And I'm like, no offense to anyone, but this is what we do. You're
Like, is that like awkward or?
I mean, again, you gotta speak your truth. You know what I mean? Kind of like what you've done and be like, yes, I could make more money doing this, but this is my purpose.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just funny because they put me in a panel at USD one time talking to, and then they had like an executive from Amazon that does fast fashion for Amazon and this other lady. I'm just like, nice to meet you. Just compliment them when I could. But I was like, when the question comes to me, I got to speak my truth.
Yeah.
So.
That's actually a issue I have too sometimes because as a content creator, you're getting brands that don't really like relate to what you're doing. Like, fast fashion brand, like, oh, you like, we'll sponsor a video and do a clothing haul. I'm like, that's the opposite of what I'm even like trying to put out on my channel.
Exactly.
Trying to show people how they can make it instead of buying from you. So I don't know if that would like, And then, a lot of the times though, those are the companies that are willing to pay though.
I know.
So,
it's tempting.
Yeah.
It's very tempting.
And that's where you gotta put your foot down.
Yeah, you really do.
And, stand for what you believe in.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why we all can't work together.
Yes.
There's no reason. You got different mentalities, different mindsets on what their viewpoint is on business, companies, mine versus yours, where the whole fundamentals came back to let's work together. You know what I mean? We have ideas. If this helps you out, great. If it helps you out, great. If I don't get anything out of it, that's fine. I was able to help you out.
Yeah.
And that's really where the DNA of what we do is why I love what we do, because it doesn't matter if we're in a room with an executive for a fast fashion brand. It's like, we know what we're doing.
Yes.
We can work together or we can make connections. I don't have to believe in what you're doing, but if there's something there, it can be there. But we don't have to, there ain't got to be no competition.
Yeah.
We all get along. There's enough to go around.
Yes.
There's enough room for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's true. Absolutely. I'm excited.
How can the Network One-on-One audience reach out to you? Oh, good question. Okay, so for me, you can do hellsbells.co. That's my brand website. But if you want to know me as a person, you should follow my Instagram. It's Mina Nohime, MINNANOHIME.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you can reach out to me on my YouTube channel, or you can check out what I do on my YouTube channel at Cool Lerpa. It's the word cool, COOLIRPA. So it's like the word cool and my name backwards, April Lerpa. So put together. So it's like Cool Lerpa. And that's pretty much my username across all social media.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Javan Reyes, you can just Meraki Allure, Meraki MERAKI, Allure ALLURE. That's on all our social media. .com is our website, and our phone number is also on there as well. You can reach us out. Reach out to us 858-880-7886, and then Mo.
Awesome. So Javan gave our website. For me, it's Mo Cissé. That's MOCISSE. Everywhere on social media, you can Google it. Meraki Allure, you can find us through all the handles there. And Mo Cissé is the same thing for social media across the board as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you guys.
It wasn't too bad, right?
It's a great first time.
I know.
Good first podcast for
Go
me.
us.